ずっと父だと思っていた男は兄だということも。
ならば妃に召し上げようか。魔君の説得には。
What? The emperor has chosen his own destiny. He has chosen his own fate. I think that is the significance of his conversation earlier with the eunuch. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a licensed psychotherapist and your favorite yapper and professional yapper at your service. Welcome back. Assassination Zero, Samsonian, Helixi, Jenny Chimaru, and Roxy Love are the founding sponsor tier highlights of my videos. Thank you to your support. Shout out to every single patron family and YouTube members out there. I mean it. And man, the show is so good. And as you guys saw, I had so much fun last week's episode. So I can now see what is being revealed and unraveled today with the envoy's special agenda, seduction attempt, and so on. Sit back and I hope you enjoy. Oh, younger crown prince, Jinshi. Oh, whoa, who is that? What the? This is interesting flashback where sounds like that older guy, really old looking guy, looked like maybe the previous emperor. And here, Jinshi's mom, not the real mom, but the empress mom, the fake mom, after the baby swap, stood in and intervened and stopped the older seemingly emperor, the former emperor. Remember, Qing Shang Huang or Cai Huang, right? Which means the previous older emperor versus the current emperor, stopping him from touching Jinshi. Not touching like inappropriate, but just even interacting with him. I wonder what that really means. And again, the further reveal of this complex and complicated real palace, and not just real palace political dynamic. Everything's political. And imagine the fact that real palace is a political arena. Imagine the actual front palace, the actual palace in itself, where the emperor is, with the officers, Shisho, with all those complicated high power families. It's extremely potent and even more deadly, way more so than the real palace.
していたのだろう。
さあ、部屋にお戻り。
Interesting. I wonder if Jinshi's mom or her disdain was towards the emperor or actually the empress, the mother, the wife of the emperor, the one who did the surgery for eunuch and bans and all that stuff, right? Who banished Luomen, Mao Mao's father, after the unsuccessful rescue. And look at this dynamic. This is extremely important. In the historically speaking, in a few dynasty era, typically when the emperor is younger, if their mom is still alive, they're the person in power behind the curtain, quite literally. Because the facade is, according to front palace, where the officers, all the gathering happens, emperor is still in charge because the paternalistic framework, patriarchy. But in secret, in actuality, the mothers are in charge because the sons could be younger, the emperors could be younger. But here, it appears as though, although the emperor is grown and older, he has no power. Did you see that power move by the empress? She's like, it's time to go back to your room, as if she was petting a dog. She did not treat him with the respect as if he was the heavens, as a true ruler. This represents to me that the empress, the one who created all these rules, are the actual ruler of the time. Very distorted and lopsided power dynamic. And what did the emperor said? Yes. Nothing but submission and obeying. So she was the true ruler. And I wonder if that disdain look on Jinshi's mom at the time was actually towards the empress, the true ruler. Fascinating. Fascinating reveal. Shit's getting real, guys. Oh! It's hard to recall. Obviously, they were the former emperor and the empress, right? And I wonder, remember that, do you see the older emperor when he approached Jinshi? He had a little gold or crystal in his hand. I wonder if he was trying to give that to Jinshi as like a toy out of fondness, because he seemed like a really genuine guy, but maybe he has some sort of an intellectual disability, or he was just been really constricted by the empress. And I wonder if Jinshi's mom intervenes, not because of the older emperor was a creep in this context, but rather she knew if the old emperor and Jinshi made contact, then the true ruler, the empress, may view them differently, may have some sort of unforeseeable or unintended consequences. And I wonder if the mom intervened to save Jinshi so that they do not get on the empress's bad side because she's a true ruler. Such a complicated and complex dynamic. And why this flashback? Let me share some speculation and conjecture. I think Jinshi had this stress dream, definition right here. So a lot of times, colloquially, we call nightmares, because this was a nightmare. You're waking up with sweat. It was very stressful. Clinically, we call that stress dreams. And remember, when we are asleep, our neurons are literally working hard to cleanse through the neurotoxins. Neurotoxins are the residues and the byproduct of our stress day to day. That's why sleeps are important. That's why whether it's depression, anxiety, any mental health struggle, one of the first things we, at least if you're competent, psychotherapists and psychologists and helpers, when we provide support, the first intervention we try to address is the environmental factor, and more specifically, sleep hygiene and sleep disturbance and sleep quality. Here, I think Jinshi's had a stress dream immediately after the last week's episode because he is caught in this extremely complicated web of politics. So here, Jinshi is feeling the pressure and he's feeling this dark web of politics and conspiracy unraveling. The mirrors, the mystery, right? The moon fairy and all that. And all of that stress is getting to Jinshi. And all that stress is being manifested through his stress dream. And that is very sound with clinical psychology.
嫌な夢だ。
Yep, stress dream. Him using his martial art, that's his coping skills. He's channeling and releasing his stress through movements, physical activities, and workout. Very, very therapeutic and helpful.
あの頃は知る由もなかったが、後に教えられた。老人は父で、老婆は祖母だった。
Yeah, old man was his father, and the older woman was his grandmother. The true empress, the person in charge.
そして、ずっと父だと思っていた男は、兄だということも。
Jinshi knew. He knows about the child swap, and he knows about the actual family lineage in the family tree. This means the emperor also knows. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow.
妙なところで。
Mao Mao.
だったら気が楽なんだが。
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Mao Mao actually figured it out and she's just in denial and refusal of the truth because she's also denying her own truth of being the princess of the La clan. I wonder why Jinshi's having this monologue. I think this represents to me he's burdened tremendously by the weight of politics, all these responsibilities and secrets. All of this is about secrets and dissonance, cognitive dissonance, and emotional incongruences. Remember what I said repeatedly throughout the series and all my videos. Living perpetually and chronically in dissonance has tremendous psychiatric impact. Depression, anxiety, stress, because we are not living in integrity. We are not living in alignment and authentically with our truth. That's what dissonance is. And I think Jinshi is feeling all of that weight, accumulatively so. That's why I think he's yearning and he's longing for a Mao Mao. His love interest, his confidant, his advisor, his friends, to also carry that truth, release and deload some of that weight. Because when you are the only one carrying that truth with your caliber of intelligence, astuteness, it's extremely lonely. So this is also about loneliness. But you will feel a lot better if there's someone that you trust who could also operate intellectually on the same caliber, same plane. The amount of release is tremendous. And he will feel less lonely if Mao Mao, the very person he wishes to also carry that truth with him. So he does not feel like he's walking this path alone, but rather he's walking there with someone else, Mama. I think that's what he's yearning for.
いつまでも黙っておくわけにはいかん。
I can't stay quiet about this forever. You see that? That is the side effects, that is the consequences of living in dissonance and holding all those secrets. If you look at research, it's really interesting. A lot of the research has been done to talk about the weight of lies. So obviously, they've done some control studies, and of course, a lot of these control studies is based on self-report. So there's no absolute guarantee that all of the participants are being 100% truthful. But based on the baseline, the controlling the outcome, when they did this control study with about 100 participants, when all of them reported on average of decreasing your lie each week by 3 lies. Let me say that again. With this control study, when the participants reported by trying to decreasing their frequency of lies or the amount of their lies by 3, just 3 lies per week, they reported about 24% increase in their mood, decrease in their psychiatric illness, and relief of their symptoms. In short, they reported feeling 24% better. That is about a quarter. That is a significant amount. It is clinically significant by reducing their lies by merely 3 lies. What does that mean? By decreasing our dissonance, by addressing our emotional incongruences, by trying to live in integrity and alignment with our truth, we feel better. That's what Jinshi is demonstrating clinically. He's suffering in silence. He's withholding this tremendous secret by himself. Sure, Gaoshun is there. He knows that. I'm sure that older court lady who raised Jinshi, who hasn't appeared since season 1, I'm sure she also knows that too. But all of that combines, Jinshi feels incredibly lonely. That's why he's suffering. And he's not displaying this, but this is low mood, irritation, loneliness, feeling disconnected. All of these could be viewed through the conceptualization of depression. Again, I don't know if it's major depression per se, but the point is, he's definitely suffering from psychiatric illness. I feel for him. It's tough. What a lonely place to be. Man.
昔々この国には別の民が住んで
Also, did you see Jinshi kind of resting on the floor with like a cocoon, like a cradle position? That's because when we are in a cradle positions, as if we were an infant, that makes us feel safe. That's attachment theory, and that's our primary instincts. When we feel the most helpless and powerless, we like to cradle ourselves. So we feel that soothing physical contact as if we're an infant again. That's our evolutionary trait.
いた。その民たちは幼
Episode 31, The Shrine of Choosing, in Chinese, 第31话. The last thing actually means like palace or dynasty. I think the first 2 means choosing, but it's more in Kanto, so I can't quite read it. Since kanji encompasses Kanto, Cantonese, and Mandarin characters.
を持たなかったが、陶器地より尊
Who's the
い
narrator?
血筋の女性がやってきて、その腹に天の子を宿した。
Oh, this is the vocational school.
それがリーの最初の皇帝となられた。月のない夜も見通せる目を持った女性は、やがて王
Oh,
母
this
と
is
呼ばれ、
amazing.
旋回から降りてきた女仙とも言われた。
この国の建国の昔話か。
どうだ薬屋。
人士様、顔が見えてしまいます。
おっと。
せっかく勉学に勤しんでいるのに、こんな生き物が覗いていたら勉強にならない。
The appearance of this creature. That's funny. Jinshi called Mama Apothecary, not by her name. And Mama is addressing Jinshi not by his name, but this creature. Obviously, this creature with the heavenly beauty that could topple nations. I'm dead,
生徒
yo.
は20名ほどですか。
20.
もっと集まるかと思ったんだがな。
最初は10名ほどだったので
That's amazing.
下女の識字率が上がれば、
Half
高
of
級
them
の
are
ありよ
falling
うも
asleep.
変わってくるだろう。あたりを読む段階に移っている。
ジン様
Shalan is only enrolled in vocational training so she can read those novella and novels. Hey, literacy is literacy, baby. Information is power. Education is liberation.
そろそろお時間が
ああ。お前。気になったことがあれば報告してくれ。
わかりました。 Shaoran.
Look at Jinshi's smile as he walks away. Anytime he sees Mamao, except when Mamao roasts him and jabs at him too hard, it brightens his day. That's the significance of their interpersonal relationship and their closeness.
どう少し
聞きに行かないと。
Aww, little sister Xiaolan.
隣の棟に先生がいてね、時々聞きに行ってるんだ。
古い
はいはい。そちらのお嬢さんは初顔だね。
Wow, they had office hours since since this Tang Dynasty era, huh? Nice view.
妙に細長く奥まで伸びているような
What's
柱の
inside?
間隔が狭い
Oh, I guess this is the subject of the title. The choosing, like the old palace is choosing. And even in kanji, it literally says something palace is chosen or chosen palace. I'm guessing this is what it's about. And also, look at the setup. The episode started with Jinshi's nightmare or stress dream about the origin of his birth, the very, very intricate and complex dynamic with the empress actually being in charge, his mom guarding him, etc. And also, here, the chosen of the old palace. And the teacher also said about the fable of the genesis of the dynasty era. All of this symbolizes old versus new. Origin of something deeper beyond the surface. Layers, right? The truth behind the facade. All of this is interconnected.
細かく部屋が分かれているんだろ
Hmm.
あの廟が気になるのかい？
うええ少し変わった作りの建物だなと思いまして。
あれはこの地にもともと住んでいた民が作った廟だよ。王母様はこの地を治める際に古い信仰を拒まなかったんだね。
王母様ってさっ
Mother Royale. Oh, that's the old empress earlier. I guess they call it Mother Royale. Makes sense.
きった初代皇帝のお母さん。
そう、王母様は息子にこう伝えたんだ。この地を治める者はあの廟を通り抜けないといけない。そして正しい道を選んだ者だけがこの地の長となる。息子は無事あの廟を通り抜け皇帝になったというわけだ。この地に遷都したのもあの廟があったからだね。しかし
Interesting. What does that mean? Does that mean that the older guy, Jinshi's father, the one who seems very meek and powerless and almost invalid earlier, based on the nightmares or stress dreams flashback, he did not successfully pass through the shrine? Is that why the Mother Royal decided to take control and use him simply as a puppeteer?
もう何十年も使われていない。今後も使われるかどうかね。
どういうことですか？
So abandoned
先
building
の
for
主
now?
上先帝の兄君たちはみんな流行り病で倒れただろう。残ったのは先帝のみ。あれに興味を持って
I see. So he was the sole survivor. That's why he became the de facto emperor. But again, my point stands. That means technically he broke the Mother Royal's rule and did not go through the rite of passage. I wonder if that represented to Mother Royal that he was less legitimate because he never actually walked through the path. But it's not really the path that's the key point. The point is the power. The point is he did not go through the path as ordained and designated by the Mother Royal herself. He did not go through her system. It is her system, her ruling. Fascinating.
る子がいて嬉しいよ。随分と久
Mama the curious cat.
変わり者でね。
Woman.
暇があったら高級内をうろうろしてたよ。
Woman.
今のお
Yo.
前さんみたいにあの廟のことも
それって
Yo.
ルーメン
Yup. Like father, like daughter, baby.
のか。
しまったついを営んでおりま
This is
して
This is fascinating. Two layers. Sure, she let it slip, but two things. She didn't have to be completely truthful, but she did. I think that symbolizes her perception of increased psychological and emotional safety in the royal palace. She feels a lot more safe. She feels safer being here compared to season 1 because of her acclamation, because of Jinshi and all that she's gone through. So in that degree, we can speculate that Maybe she's not fully acknowledging of her identity as a princess of the Law clan, but deep inside in her hearts of hearts, or at least intellectually, she knows she's not 100% truly a lowly servant girl. 2, you could also argue that she is refusing to lie and she's very, very honest based on her neurodivergent traits. That's also a possibility. But 3, she also feels comfortable and safe with his teacher. And rather than lying or redirecting, she's just being honest about who Luomen is. And she also does not want to deny her relationship with her adopted father, Luomen, the person that she cares about the most. But I think the most important takeaway from that, from my yapping, is I think she does feel this increased safety because of the backbone of Jinxi, Gaoshan, Lady Gyokyu, Li Hua, and all that. Because she too is part of this intricate, powerful web of relationship. Her social capital is significant.
そうか、ローメンの。
この人は親父と仲が良かった
Yeah, I
んだ
feel
ろ
like
う
they were
か。
friends. He seems like a really kind guy.
見て
Aww. Ooh. And I love that the Emperor is getting more and more camera time. What does that say? Because remember, all of this assassination, all of this plot scheming, at the end of the day, is centered around Emperor, the current king, the current ruler, the current heavens of the sky. So the more of these schemes are being unraveled, the center, the subject of all of this is also appearing more and more, which is why he's getting more camera time.
失礼いたします。
待てクスシ、この後行くところへついてきてほしい。
Oh.
どちらへ？
I bet it's the old shrine. That's my prediction.
選択の秒。
Yup. Yup. Great setup.
突然どうされたのですか？
一体何をなさるのやら。昼間見た古いビ
At the cliffhanger last episode, that I joked about how the Emperor is saying that, ooh, how can I utilize Mao Mao more? She's too invaluable of an asset, aside from contemplating about the dark web of conspiracy. The fact that now Mao Mao is being summoned to accompany the Emperor to go into this old shrine of choosing. Mao Mao is truly getting closer and closer to the epitome, the epicenter of power, influence. This is very, very significant, y'all. Remember, no other servants or ladies in waiting in history of dynasties could be accompanying the emperor. That just doesn't happen. Now, of course, we know, yeah, of course, Benoit, Mao Mao is the MC. She's a female protagonist. Well, duh, I know. But historically and culturally, this is massive, massive. And of course, Emperor knows that she is the princess of La Clan because he knows everything. The Emperor, you know what I mean?
それに
Oh,
手習い所の先生。
お待ちしておりました。
もう一度チンが通ってもいいのかな。
何度来られても同じかもしれませんが、それでもよろしければ。
帝に対してヒヤヒヤすること。
yeah, what a way to speak to the Emperor. So he's also high up, the teacher. And I'm sure he was friends with Luomen. Fascinating, dude. Fascinating.
お月はどなたが？
Mao Mao.
では
And
この二
Jinxi.
人で。
ここは女人禁制では。
方々も女帝も女性ですよ。どうぞ。
では参ろうか。
三つの扉。
Mao Mao doesn't know what it entails on the literally the other side. Emperor knows because obviously he's attempted it and he's gone through it before. But Mao Mao doesn't know what's happening. I wonder if Jinxi knows. Probably not too. So they're also clueless. What does this mean? Does this mean the Emperor is still grooming Jinxi to be the next Emperor? And he's also putting Mao Mao, like I said, the epicenter of power. I think the Emperor is also grooming Mao Mao to become the advisor to the next emperor. Yo.
赤き扉通る
Riddle.
緑。青緑を選べってことか。
どの扉を選びますか？
青にしよう。前は緑を選んだか。
Oh, so the emperor knows what's behind the door with the path. This is the chosen path. That's why it's called the old palace of the chosen path. But he doesn't know what it actually means. This is also similar to a ritual and a tradition in Korea, in Korean culture. We call it Tor. Tor is a celebration when you hit 1 year old. When a child or a baby hits 1 year old, it's called Tor Seok. It's celebration 1 year because historically, in Korea, out of famine, poverty, infection, lack of infrastructure, many babies did not live past 1 year old. So it was a massive, massive celebration. And I'm sure it's not just Korea that celebrates Torsok, which is 1 year celebration. I'm sure in other Eastern Asian cultures also celebrate that. But out of that Torsok, there's a big ritual. It's they have different tools like rice, like some sort of a toy, different tools and different toys. And they ask the baby to crawl towards one of them. And based on the path they choose, they talk about it foreshadows and predicts their career pathway. What they do, what they become when they're older. Obviously, it's not scientific, right? But just a fun ritual, cultural tradition we abide by, which is awesome, right? Because it's family gatherings, friends come. It's hilarious and really cute and adorable to see babies crawling or struggling to crawl towards one of the things. But that's the same here, parallel process. The path, the chosen path. Very, very interesting. So I guess in that sense, the Mother Royals rule and system they've established, they actually have a lot of historical context, even in Korean culture, it seems like. Fascinating.
さようでしたね。ではこちらへ。
That's why this old teacher, he's also very high up and he could speak to the emperor very casually because I think he's like the shaman, not necessarily, but I think he's like a similar shaman-esque type of personnel. He represents the interpreter of symbolism, and people who are in charge of rituals historically in Chinese dynasty, they have a very special power, like a high priest, similar to like Judeo-Christian perspective.
管理する我々の身にもなってください。ですから。
苦労をかける。
Do you see that? That is the significance of his role as a high priest. He is kind of nagging at the emperor. Hey, can you pay a little bit more attention? And emperor is not mad, which again, that means he's Mingjing. He's a great emperor and kind. But two, that's the role and the significance of the high priest. That the emperor is not getting mad, being nagged or dissed by this personnel. Do you see that? That's huge. Fascinating. So there's just infinite amount of rule. It's like doors, huh? Behind each door, there's more pathways, right? Interesting. Again, game theory. Fascinating.
また3つの扉。緑、茶、水色。扉を通るべからず。
So each door, it says do not pass through one door. Again, that's either a hint or a misdirection. It could be a clue or a false clue. But regardless, partial clue is equally misleading as a lie. Fast. This is psychologically interesting.
緑にしよう。
まさかこれをずっと繰り返すのか？
It's a maze. Fascinating. Mamao seems checked out. I wonder if that's because she's not interested in this type of escape room puzzle solving, or she's deep in thoughts, trying to analyze every decision. And think about the amount of permutation that's possible with these choices, right? That's a lot of possible combinations of possibilities and probabilities.
たり下がったり戻ったり曲がったりぐるぐる回っているような気もする。帝はどうして私を
That's why we saw Mama looking out the window and saying that the old shrine is really shaped. It's very seemingly long, so it has a lot of rooms. It does have a lot of rooms, but also a lot of staircases, a lot of doors, a lot of hallways.
連れてきたんだろう。早く終わらないもんか。
Jinshi's focused because he knows the significance of this.
これが最後の扉だな。
次の扉は青、
Blue,
紫、
purple,
黄で
and yellow. Hmm.
決めた。木を選ぶ。
よろしいですね。
頼む。
行き止まり。
Oh man.
王の子よ。だが王母の子ではない。
Well, that's not Jinshi, right? Because Mother Royal was a grandmother. That's the old emperor, the puppet of the puppet master Mother Royal. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that why he was the only one that survived when all his elder brothers died? Because maybe that had some sort of a genetic mutation or genetic illness, hereditary illness. That's why they all died. And the sole survivor, he survived because he did not share the same genetics, aka he was not the child of the Mother Royale. But that's obviously very eerily similar parallel process with Chinshi. His memory recall, his flashback, and his birthright. Yo.
意味はわからないが明らかに拒絶だろ
前に来た時と同じ結果か。
う。ん
It hits
妙
too
に
close to
真剣
home.
な顔をしている。
陳に転移を知ることはできないか。
何をおっしゃいますやら。この病を後宮の中に閉じ込めた時点で、ここを管理する者は
Mm,
おそらくこの老
good
宦官
reframe.
は後宮ができる前からずっとこの病を管理してきたのだろう。管理を続けるため虚勢して宦官になってまでここに。
Interesting.
お帰りはあちらです。
Yo, what does this mean?
帝は看板の指示に従って進んだ。間違いはしなかったはずだ。何か別の意図があったのか。
Is Mamao seriously recreating all the pathway they chose based on her memory recall without jotting them down? Mamao, what? What kind of a memory recall do you have? Jeez, what a prodigy.
部屋の数。選んだ扉の色か。
きっとローメンならわかる。
Woman.
確かに親父の知識はすごい。でもお前には無理だと言われるのは腹が立つ。親父は特に。
Time to visit your dad, woman. Mama's viewing that as a challenge.
3つの扉。
Three
3つ
doors.
の言葉の真意は何だ。
I mean, I think we know what that means, right? Like I said. But Mama still doesn't know because to know that, she also needs to know the truth behind Jinshi's identity. Will the dots finally click for
陳が王母の子ではないという言葉の意味がわかるか。
Wait, is this what guys? I know I don't consider this a spoiler because it's just seemingly meaningless emojis, but the amount of people, like literally thousands of people commented frog emojis since season 1. I was like, what does that mean?
Have you seen this man? He's wanted for murder. Is he really? Yes. Don't you say a word.
Whenever you guys said green frog, is this the aha moment for Mamao? Is this the light bulb, rude awakening moment that, holy shit, Jinshi is not a eunuch. He's the crown prince, aka frog prince. Is that what that green frog emoji means? Anyway, that's my conjecture.
言えば建国の物語に登場するのは初代
In the pregnancy.
そうなものだが、実際には男子による世襲制をとっている。その中で王母の血筋を
Different genetics.
天使様、
何か気づいたことが？
先帝のご兄弟は同服だったのでしょうか。
全員が同服ではないが、王子を産んだ母君たちは姉妹だと聞いた。
Of course.
行ってみよう。
代々帝位を継いだのは目の悪い方が多かったのではありませんか。
確かにあまり良くなかった。
Yo, you see that eunuch? He's like, what the He's like, I just said that your dad knows. And you took that as a challenge and you came to this conclusion within seconds? Look at him. He's shooketh. I'm shooketh too.
ってことがある。だが先帝の目は良かったぞ。
やっぱり。
この資格があると
Oh,
いう
you're
のかい。さっ
worthy.
きは連れて行ったけど、そう何度も入れるのはね。
Unless the emperor
扉
says
の
so.
選択。 だろ
お
ただの下女だもんな。
うんならば妃に召し上げようかラカンの説得には
What?
折れそうだが
ご冗談。
滝たちがどう思う
それもそうだお前が連れて行くか
お
それなら構わ
Hold up. Dude, what just happened? In that simple conversation and back and forth, within literally like a minute, Mamo just got upgraded to a concubine of freaking Jinshi? Yo! Oh my gosh. But okay, but before we resume, oh my gosh, dude, this is peak. Going back to Mamo's conjecture, analysis, deductions, that the previous emperors have bad eyesight. And the warning of do not enter this door, what does that mean? If they had bad eyesight, then they either misread the clue and that somehow falsified their perception or gave them a unintended clue for them to choose the right path, or because they had bad eyesight, they could not read properly what the clue said. So they actually went against the warning and in turn, ironically, chose the right path. Am I on the ball? Am I close?
るか首相がそうおっしゃるのであれ
Yo,
ば
you see? This is going back to what the eunuch said about the emperor. Although the emperor said, I guess I do not understand the wills of the heaven. At the end of the day, with his agency, he is still the ruler of the lands. And he can find loopholes and defy the previously established system by the Mother Royale. Because the systems are dead, but the people are alive. Again, the emperor has chosen his own destiny. He has chosen his own fate. I think that is the significance of his conversation earlier with the eunuch.
参ろうか
Round 2, baby.
いつもより茶目っ気がある。
Yeah, this is interesting.
まずは青、赤、緑の扉。
Red door.
青、
Oh, okay. Just
ここ
kidding.
は帝が選ばれたものと同
At
じ。
least for now, okay.
さっき通った時は分からなかった。王母の子にしか選べない扉があるとしたら、
If there are pathways and doors can only be chosen by the children of the Mother Royale, that means they had bad eyesight. Again, I think the key point is the bad eyesight. And the bad eyesight, I wonder if it means not nearsighted, as I conjecture, but rather colorblind. Is this about color blindness? Yes, colors of the door. Oh, I'm so excited.
10個目。白、
Okay,
紫、
color
緑の
blindness.
扉。
What would colorblind
何時
person not see?
赤い扉を選べ。
赤い扉などないぞどういうことだ
緑
There's no color red! Oh shit, hit my light. Am I on the ball, y'all? There's no color red. But for someone who's colorblind, they will choose a color to them that appears to be red. Oh, I just got goosebumps. So, the reason why Mother Royale created this system of old shrine is actually not about the wills of the heavens. It's Mother Royale's vetting system. It's for her to weed out the true blood of her lineage, children of the Mother Royale, versus just the royalty blood, aka the children of other concubines instead of her own children. This is her way to weed out her competitions, to make sure only her true children can inherit the rightful throne, because they have to have color blindness out of this genetic lineage. Wow, this is insane! I think this might be the peak, aside from Lacan arc and the misdirection there in last season. This is the peak mystery and puzzle solving. Mind blowing, dude. This is mind blowing.
緑
くぐればわかります。
They came out.
おめでとうございます。
Wow.
次の王になりました。その者はここに立ち、民に宣誓することが決まりました。
Wow. Oh my gosh, non-stop goosebumps.
敵を連れて再度この廟へやってきたと。本来正しき血を受け継ぐ者がそれを
Be done by those with the right blood, aka the correct genetics of color blindness.
すわけですが、
Wow.
この度はどうも違うものが当ててし
Wow,
まった
that's
ようで。
insane.
挑発してきたのはそっちなのに、なんだこのじじい。
それよりどういうことか陳に分かるように説明
Wow,
してくれ
this is
るか。
insane.
それはそちらの娘に聞いてはいかがかと。
このじじい、言いにくいことを。
You think this eunuch is doing Mama a favor by allowing her to regain further favor and leverage by the emperor? I'm gonna, this is my conjecture, but I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% confidence because he is dear friends with Luoman. So I think he's looking out for Luoman's adoptive daughter, Mao Mao. That's why I think he's giving Mao Mao the opportunity, the golden once in a lifetime opportunity to explain this to the emperor himself so that she could gain further favors. But of course, Mao Mao perceived that as a hassle. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, this is peak.
だそう
What
だ
an impressive writing. Wow, my heart.
建国の物語では、王母は暗闇も見通せる目を持っているということでした。この廟に選ばれし者、つまり王母の血を引く者は、色の識別ができない目を持つということです。
Color blindness, let's go! Good job, Mao Mao. Good job. We did it.
色の識別が
どういうことだ。
では、先ほど私が選んだ扉の基準についてご説明を。最初は青、赤、緑の扉があり、青を選ぶはずです。なぜなら赤と緑の区別がつかないから、
Yup.
確実に赤ではない扉を選ぶ。
赤と緑が区別できない。
この国ではいたそうです。
ローメンならわかるだろうね。
裁縫に留学していた親父ならこの特
Ah,
性
that
を知っ
was
て
a
いただろう。
clue. Fascinating. Wow.
本当の正解は一つしかなかったのです。
Wow.
しかし代々の皇帝にそんな特徴があれば気づきそうなもん。
It's not really too significant. It's true.
が困難な分、読めが聞くとも聞きます。それが王母の目の言い伝えの元ではないでしょうか。
Wow, interesting.
王母から引き継いだ特性を
I don't know if someone feel free to share. Is that factually accurate that people struggle with color blindness could see better in dark? Is that how cornea and visual cortex, is that how that works? I have no idea.
かここを通過できないということか。
時には偶然通過した者もいるかもしれませんが、最後の部屋までたどり着ける確率は
Yep.
相当低いでしょう。
Permutation, extremely low.
昔話には王母は陶吉よりやってきたものとある。彼女は色彩の判別が困難な特性を持ちながら、裁縫の地より従者ととも 彼女はこの地の長と婚姻を結んだのです。
待て薬屋。
Hold up. So the legend says that Mother Royale arrived from a very, very far land. Out of the 4 upper rank concubines, who is the one concubine who comes from also like a farther lands with different eye color? Luolan. Is this why Shisho and maybe Luolan, they believe they deserve the rightful throne and the kingship of this lands? Or am I making too far of a leap? Is this not related to Luolan at all? Because again, I know Luolan is definitely a central figure in some of the dark, like a deeper conspiracy, right? Or is this more actually about the envoys, Eileen and her cousin, who also came from the far lands? And if they're colorblind, then the region's the west. Is this why Shisho and Eileen or the envoys are conspiring together? Because maybe they came from this, they represent the interest and the origin of the Mother Royale. I'm just throwing, possible ideas out there, right?
王母は夫を持たなかったと聞くぞ。
そこが王母たちのしたたかなところです。を祖しながら代々男子が皇位継承しているのは、この地の長を立てたやり方に従ったからだと思います。
True.
しかし王母の血族はそのまま自分たちの血が薄れ。
Also, can we talk about from a single puzzling exercise of these children of old shrine? Mama's literally freaking deducing entire lineage and the origin and family tree to the beginning of this dynasty with the Mother Royale. What kind of a deduction is this, Mama? Gosh, can you stop being so impressive, please? It's not annoying, it's because it's impressive, but it's like, dude, come on. Too impressive.
王母の血を確実に後世に残す方。王母に近しい血筋の者を妃として迎え、共に廟に入る。妃も廟に立ち入ることができるのはそのためだ。そうやって少しずつ国の中心に入り込んでいく。元いた長の存在。
Wow.
乗っ取りだったわけだ。
Yeah, very peaceful.
まあ、さすがにそれは言えないけどね。
つまり陳には王母の血は流れておらぬということか。
確実な判別法としてこの病の存在があるだけです。親にその傾向があっても子に伝わらない。
That's true. Genetic mutations and variabilities is true. It's the same thing. Just because both your parents have blue eyes, green eyes, does not necessitate your child to also have blue eyes or green eyes. Mutations is real, just like people with red head, right? And so on. Not red head, red hair and so on.
血は濃くなりすぎても弊害が起こります。先帝のご兄弟が病で倒れられたのも。
Yep, that's probably through incest. 100%. Yup.
娘、王母がこの地を治められたのは類いまれな聡明さがあったからこそと言われております。
は？何を言っているのだ、あのクソじじい。
Bag of
それも面
bones.
白いかもしれぬが、ラカンを敵に回したくはないし、何より胸周りが15センチほど足らぬ。
Oh my gosh.
芸なお世話だ。
しかしお気をつけください。よその血が入ること。主情は分かっておられますでしょう。
Wow, they're really close. This eunuch and the emperor, they're really, really close. Look at how casual they're talking. So he's definitely one of the trusted confidants of the emperor. That's very clear.
お気をつけください。
Wow. Please be careful.
分かっている。
Emperor looked at Jinshi. Please be careful, because Emperor's also saying that, hey, they already attempted assassination once. On the lookout. And Jinshi's like, I know. AKA, they need Jinshi to continue stay under the cover, to, I guess, continue to live in his dissonance and dual identity. It's also out of their own sake. Preservation of blood, lineage, and safety. Come on, Mamo. Mama, when is it gonna click for you, dude? Come on. Wow, what an episode. This is... Okay, there you go. Some questions. Finally, Mao. Come on.
っていいか。知らぬが仏。そういうものだ。
Oh, here comes another great wall of denial. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Enough said, y'all. I yapped for over an hour and 6 minutes. This was my favorite episode in the new season, in season 2. 100%. Absolute masterclass in storytelling. Just such an impressive, tight writing. Oh, obviously you guys saw how much fun and joy I had from this episode, right? That's amazing. As always, remember, you matter. You are worthy. And man, how lovely would it be to have an amazing friends like Mao in our lives. Thank you for tuning in. Until next week. Peace.